There was a report that you had a conversation with Congresswoman Green about some of the members who voted for the infrastructure bill, and she was reportedly satisfied with what you said you were going to do to her about this. We don't know exactly what it was. Can you tell us what you're planning to do?
The one thing I believe is the people that are causing this problem are not in the Republican conference. Mm-hmm. They're the Democrats and the Democrats' policy. The more...
And the media?
Yeah, the media tries to get Republicans to fight together. There is no room... Look, I believe in the Reagan 11th commandment. Mm-hmm. We don't have to be attacking one another. We know when we attack one another, we empower Democrats. We need to stop that policy of them. We need to unite together and move forward. And that's exactly what we were doing. And I think members on all sides bring them closer together. Stop any infighting. If a member individually makes a mistake, they apologize for it. They own up to it. They don't harm the rest of the conference by that. Lauren Boebert made a joke, referenced something. She apologized to the public, and then she called Ilhan Omar about it.
And then Omar reacted very viciously. She hung up on her,
But you know, for the same point, what was interesting, in that same week, you had a Democrat, where the media is all asking me about it, and I like to handle things personally with members. You had a member of the Democratic Party say, I was working with the Ku Klux Klan, but no media asked Pelosi about that. You had Ilhan Omar, who earlier referred to my support in an earlier Congress for Israel was all about the Benjamins, never apologized. I mean, they hold these different standards. We're going to have one standard for all. And the number one thing I think, too, is, listen, not just members of Congress, Republicans across the country, your listeners, think for one moment. Don't allow the pain the Democrats are causing to take our reaction off on Republicans. They're not causing it. Let's unite together, bring independents with us. It's the policy of the Democrats, and focus on this election.
You've approached your relationships with conservatives differently than some of your predecessors.
Because I'm a conservative.
Right. Paul Ryan, John Boehner, I think, had a very different relationship than you do with the House Freedom Caucus and other conservatives in the House. Can you tell us about some of the things you're doing differently than they did? What did you learn from what they had done in the past?
I just thought in the past that the conference got too much into different identities, right? Mm-hmm. I think we're one Republican conference, and I want to treat everybody equal, right? Mm-hmm. And I understand not every person who comes to Washington, even though you come as a Republican, is exactly the same, and every district is not the same. And so you're going to have some difference of opinion, but 90% of your philosophy is completely the same. So work on the things that we agree upon. Bring everybody in. Don't think just because somebody is considered a moderate or conservative, they can only serve on certain committees. We're a microcosm of society, so they should be able to serve everywhere. And I want to have a more open dialogue, and I'm going to be more open when I disagree. You know, the one thing that happens at the end of the day, the conference elects me as leader. I'm going to have to make decisions, but I'm going to make those decisions what I think is best for the country. Some will like it and some won't. But you have the ability to give me your input, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make a decision, and we all have got to work towards forward. I do not like the idea of people going out in the party criticizing one another. Mm-hmm. That's got to stop. Mm-hmm. It's the Democratic policy, and I know the frustration that it causes, and these are a lot of things that Pelosi does that try to make Republicans fight among themselves. Let's not take the bait. Let's focus on the American public and work together to make that happen.
Right, and so speaking of those committee assignments, do you envision a better way of doing that moving forward than it happened in the past? Because I know we've heard from Freedom Caucus guys that have been upset that they weren't maybe on the A committees. So I know it's a little insider baseball, but
for the insiders, I mean, what people probably felt in the past, if I had some belief I couldn't be on certain. Under my leadership, that's never been the case. You got Freedom Caucus people who are ranking members of committees. You got them on every single committee there is. You got moderates on every single committee but no one's going to be held back. You get elected to this conference from your constituents. When you get into the conference, you get elected to your committees by your conference. And nobody should be withheld from going to it. Now, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed a committee. what's tough is there's only so many slots. So somebody at the end of the day thinks they deserve it. Conference doesn't decide it. But you will not be withheld from it because of the case of what organization internally you belong to.